What is up, guys? Alex back here with an update on my WGU journey. Where have I been? I'm going to update you on Software 2, Data Structures Algorithms 2. And this video is primarily meant as a quick update and just my general tips for Software 2 and Data Structures Algorithms 2. If you haven't been keeping up, you don't want to know where I've been, that's completely fine. For context, though, the last class I passed was Software 1. That was April 20th. Today is June 10th, technically June 11th, because I started making this deck at 11:50, and now it's, June 10th, 11th, technically. So it's been almost 2 months, technically 50 or 51 days, depending on how you count it. So I finished Software 1 April 20th. April 21st, the following day, I went to Vietnam for essentially a 2-week vacation. I went on vacation. It was great. I have family over there, did touristy stuff, and it was awesome. Except for, at the end, I started developing a slight cough. So, on the week I got back, which was May 8th, I got COVID. And I was fighting jet lag. For those who have traveled internationally across the world, I'm in the United States. If you've suffered from jet lag before, it is not fun. It hits for about a week, makes things very slow. I went back to work that Monday. So I was trying to get back things into work, and those, things are always a rush, getting back into work, getting back into life, fighting jet lag. I also had COVID on top. It was actually the first time I got COVID. So yeah, that was a crazy, that was not very fun. Well, even better news was at the end of the week, which was about May 12th. I work at a startup on a sales team. We were brought on to find product market fit. Me and 4 other guys are brought on to see whether we can sell this outbound. And after several months, we determined actually we can't. So on May 12th, I got laid off. On our sales team essentially all got laid off, including myself. So I got laid off after going on vacation for 2 weeks, coming back to COVID, working the entire week, and then at the end of the week, got laid off. Kind of sucked. So that was the first time I've been laid off. And of course, as you can imagine, that is relatively stressful. I don't know if I share this on the channel, but I actually am married, despite being relatively young. I have to provide for family and whatnot. My family, my wife and I do have, a rent. I have I live in an apartment, a relatively high cost of living. I think I pay after everything, about $2,000 just in our rent and utilities and things like that. And then other expenses on top of that and whatnot. So that was very stressful. That was the first time I've been laid off. Maybe I'll make a video if anyone wants to hear about that, like what that experience was like, what I did. So as you can imagine, the fire was under me. Another funny side note to add to this, I got laid off on that Thursday, but they counted it on that Friday. But that Sunday, we went to the beach to just kind of blow off steam. Because, it was pretty sad. I got pulled over for the first time in my life. Kind of sucked. So, kind of down tropes. But that's okay. So, from that week on, from May 15th to May 31st, I applied to over 700 jobs. Literally, I would just sit there 8 hours a day, essentially, and apply to jobs. I wasn't just mass applying. I mean, I was and I wasn't. Of these 700 jobs, because I'm in sales and I'm applying for a sales position, I would literally find these people's emails, the hiring managers, the HR managers, the director of sales. I cold emailed. So out of these 700 jobs that I applied to, I probably cold emailed about 500 of them. And I got over 25 interviews, and I did the whole interview cycle, and I had to push everything as fast as I can because, I needed to get another job, and that was, scary. I do have a savings account. I do have 6 months of savings expenses. So although I was stressed out, I had a savings account, but we didn't want to tap into it, because if I can hustle really hard, why not? I can't do that. So in literally the span of about 2.5 weeks, I applied to over 700 jobs, had over 25 interviews. On May 31st, I signed my offer letter. So I have a new sales job that pays very similar. The OTE is 6 figures, which is awesome. For the experience I have doing tech sales. I'm an account executive, so that's great that I was able to sign an offer in essentially 2 weeks. It took a lot of hard work. As you can imagine, my priority was getting another job and providing for my family instead of doing WGU. Now, as you see, today is June 10th/11th, technically 11th because that's the day I'm recording this and probably uploading it. I have time between when I actually sign my offer letter and from when I start. So, in that time, I actually completed 3 classes as well as in addition to, doing all these things. So although it's been about 50 days, I was on vacation for 15 days, or about 15 days. That's really 35 days. I had COVID, fought jet lag, applied over 700 jobs, did 25 interviews, signed an offer letter, and I was also able to get 3 classes done, which was like awesome news for me. I'm glad it happened. So that's kind of where I've been. I'm now on track. I only have my ITIL and my capstone left, so I guess I'll get to that to the end, but this is really why some of you guys are here. I'd like to apologize in advance because of the tips on this video. They're not as in-depth as some of my other videos. I find it hard for me to give tips on a project that, one, there's really little context on, and 2, it's like hard for me to not know what I'm allowed to say and what I am allowed to say. So I'm going to keep them vague. If you want me to make a video on these more in depth, let me know. If you want me to make a video about my whole how to get a job in 2 weeks, applying 700 jobs, let me know. That's completely cool. But if not, I will get into it. Software 2, I worked on it as fast as I can after I got back. So that week that I got back, this is actually when I primarily did most of this, and then it got submitted back 3 times for revisions. What I would recommend you to do is start with your Software 1 project as a template and just kind of make copy, save as, make a new thing, and then start with that as a template. That's going to be a great starting point. This one uses a virtual machine. So I set it up locally on my Mac and then tried to get in the virtual machine. That was a very difficult process. That took about a day. I had a lot of tearing up my hair. I would say, hey, like if you could just get it started on the virtual machine, make sure it connects to the virtual machine, connect it to the SQL, get that to manipulate the data. Start there. You're going to start yourself off a lot better than me doing it 100% on my MacBook. I will say there are some disadvantages of using a MacBook because if you make it completely on a MacBook, there's some Mac files that get transferred in, and then when you copy and paste into your virtual machine, since it's Windows, there's problems. So I would say, hey, like just connect with the virtual machine from the start. I've heard some people on Reddit say, hey, just do the whole project on there. To me, it's so slow, but I would just recommend that. Now, the second thing, or I should say the third thing, error checking is what I got revisions on all 3 times. My first 2 attempts came back just because I didn't fully error check, essentially. So I would quadruple check. I would recommend talking to a course instructor as well if you're feeling nervous. Honestly, I thought I checked. The course instructors come back with great feedback. The evaluators come back with great feedback about what's wrong. So, I mean, if you want to go through the error checking, go talk to a course instructor. I remember for Software 1, the course instructor literally checked the most common pitfalls students get, and he helped me with one of them. So I would probably imagine it's the same on Software 2. So if you have it done, you check the requirements. If you want someone to do it, just schedule a 15-minute call and say, hey, can you help me error check for certain things? That's that. I think that's what you should do. Again, if you want me to make more in that video, let me know. Now let's talk about data structures and algorithms. Took me 2 attempts. And these are my tips. Again, this is kind of hard. For those who don't know, this is a traveling salesman problem. You're trying to visit many nodes without me giving away exactly how it's done. Again, I don't know what I'm allowed to say, and I'd rather err in the air of caution. But what I first do is start with your hash map. Number 2, build a hash map in Python. 2, figure out how to manipulate data from CSV data. 3, build your algorithms to solve the problem. And then 4, what got me is the education/stipulations of the assignment. So there are certain constraints that they have to do. I thought I got them all, double check them. That's basically what happened, why it got revised. It was one of my nodes had a certain requirement change halfway through, let's put it that way. And I did not catch that because there was a bunch of other stipulations that I was figuring out, and it got returned. And the evaluator in this one, once I failed it, they came back, and the course instructor emailed me specific information to help me solve it. It was actually really cool. This is the first time I've seen it. So yeah, that's my data structures and algorithms 2 tips. Again, let me know if you want me to make a video. That's it. After this, I am trying to take my ITIL test. I start my new job on June 20th. And I have scheduled my ITIL on the 13th. So I'm going to try to study all day tomorrow and, Monday essentially trying to study for my ITIL, take my ITIL, and then after, hopefully I could pass it on the 13th and then spend 14th, 15th, 16th, and the 19th all day working on the capstone project. Hopefully I can get it done. Maybe I can't. Maybe I will. Ideally finish it by the end of June. That's kind of what I'm shooting for at this point, assuming I could pass my ITIL. But that's the update. This video is more so just like where I've been, some soft tips on software 2 and data structures algorithms 2. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and feel free to leave any comments. Thank you guys so much for watching.